And grab the moldy one.
Fire up your Pip Boys, everyone. The first trailer for Amazon's long-awaited Fallout series is finally here, and it's a doozy. Until now, our best news on the Fallout front has come from Bethesda executive Todd Howard, sharing the occasional snippet about the show's setting, Los Angeles, and how it fits into the game. For those unfamiliar with the games but vibing with the trailer, you're in for a treat. Fallout is set in an alternative future of America, one where nuclear war has turned America into an irradiated wasteland. But some humans have survived by living in expensive underground vaults. Others adapted or changed with the radiation to live on the surface. Over time, civilizations began to rebuild, with humanity repurposing the wreckage of our old societies to create new townships. But for as much as the games are about big concepts of democracy and war, they're also about the gonzo pockets of humanity that sprout up in the wreckage. You're as likely to stumble across a town of children as you are a town of cannibals, and that's part of Fallout's charm. There's a lot to like in the first trailer, from the production design of the series to the way it folds in recognizable technologies and creatures from the games. But, as with any good teaser, the trailer also raises more questions than it answers. So let's dig in. When the bombs dropped on America in the Fallout series, those with wealth and power retreated underground, seeking refuge from the radiation and destruction in Fallout shelters, designed by defense contractors Vault-Tec. At a glance, the vault the showrunners have created bears a delightful and uncanny resemblance to what players see in the games. But fans know that Vault-Tec had other plans for these captive populations, often running a series of medical or social experiments with survivors, which led to further scientific advancements and profits at all costs. While there are vaults in the Fallout universe that offer protection for vault dwellers and nothing more, the first trailer suggests that, well, Vault 33, it ain't one of them. What we see of Vault 33 is incredibly violent, an all-out brawl in the hydroponics bay, blood splattered against a jukebox, and, in what's probably the most memorable shot from the trailer, a vault dweller with a fork in her eye unloading an SMG in the Vault 33 living area. And if there's violence in the vault, well, the odds are that Vault-Tec had something to do with it. And so we're treated to the instigating event of every Fallout story. A young vault dweller heads topside in search of answers. What grand social experiment was Vault-Tec performing that caused survivors to turn on each other? What is the relationship between Vault 33 and the outside world? Who, if Michael Emerson's voiceover is any indication, already have some familiarity with vault dwellers? And what the hell is the deal with Chris Parnell's one-eye administrator? All questions that will no doubt be answered in time. Fallout fans should be thrilled to see the game's iconic power armor in action, especially with the promise of a fight between a soldier and a Yao Guai, basically a black bear radiation monster. But the show's focus on the Brotherhood of Steel, the paramilitary coalition of soldiers and scientists depicted in the series, does raise some interesting questions for the status of the Fallout universe. This is especially true when we take into consideration the recent comments that the show is considered canon with the games, and that its placement is about 200 years into the Fallout timeline. In the games, the Brotherhood of Steel was formed in the immediate aftermath of nuclear war in 2077. But they aren't the only power broker in California. The new California Republic, a constitutional republic formed in 2186, is also one of the major political entities of the Fallout universe, appearing in several games. It's entirely possible the series does not want to delve into military conflict in its first season though. That's not exactly going to get the Fallout vibes across to a new audience, and it's better to let viewers grow accustomed to the pseudo-1950s aesthetic and post-apocalyptic creatures from the games. Since the factions we see seem to be limited to Vault Dwellers, the Brotherhood of Steel, and Wastelanders, it looks like, at the very least, that Fallout is angling for more of a conventional origin story. But adding a main character who can provide an internal perspective on the Brotherhood of Steel opens up a lot of interesting doors for where the series might go. Fallout games wear their love of films like A Boy and His Dog and Radioactive Dreams proudly on their sleeves, and the comparison between the Mad Max franchise and these games run obvious and deep. So, like in all the weirdest and best apocalypse stories, Fallout has often included dogs in its adventure, and this trailer invites us all to make room in our hearts for a new version of Dogmeat. While multiple canine companions have had the name Dogmeat, they exist in different locations and at different times. The most recent version of Dogmeat in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 are German Shepherds that help you find items in the wasteland and fight off enemies. So it's a welcome surprise to see the creators prioritizing bringing a live-action Dogmeat to the series too. too. But where does he fit in the grander narrative? Well, the fact that the show has paired Dogmeat with Goggins' character probably tells us all we need to know about that character's moral alignment. In the best version of the world, Dogmeat is treated like Halle Berry's dogs in John Wick Chapter 3, Parabellum, and given full combatant status. And he certainly makes short work of the Radroach that we see in the trailer. While the trailer focuses on a post-apocalyptic vision of Los Angeles, one where curious vault dwellers are greeted by little more than rubble and sun-bleached landscapes, the influence of mid-century America still peeks through. The Fallout series is set in a world that divulged from ours in several key ways. This is a country that is, well, was steeped in retrofuturism, embracing the technologies and values of post-war America. And while we don't get to see a ton of America that was in the trailer, there are still some touches throughout that suggest that the show will have real fun with its new setting. The Fallout series has often transformed some of America's best landmarks into notable locations in the game. Odds are good that the showrunners wouldn't waste the opportunity to place Walter Goggins and the company somewhere significant, meaning that Fallout's newest wasteland enclave will repurpose a recognisable Los Angeles landmark. And since Hollywood loves making big movies and shows about Hollywood, we can probably assume the film industry will play a big part in the world the show creates.
I don't want to see tomorrow unless I see it with you.
Oh, and finally a shout out to the trailer's song selection, I Don't Want to See Tomorrow, a Nat King Cole ballad released 2 years after the Cuban Missile Crisis. One of the joys of the Fallout series is the in-game radio stations, which provide countless hours of classic radio hits and in-world talking heads. I Don't Want to See Tomorrow was released in 1964, a bit outside the usual smattering of 1940s and 1950s releases, but it still captures both the vibrancy and anxiety of nuclear era well. What did you think of the Fallout trailer? Did you spot anything that we missed or other references to the games? Let us know in the comments, and for everything else Fallout, then stick with IGN.
I know that I've lived a relatively comfortable life.
Stop! Lucy!